Yeah, roll one up, it's gonna make me lose. Tell me what you want, just pick and choose. Yeah, we feeling so good. Yeah, we feeling so good. Yeah, roll one up, it's gonna make me lose. Tell me what.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in for another one of my sewing project. Today we'll be making this green two-piece suit right here. I actually started this video on really bad note because I lost an hour worth of footage. I had to record the instruction pretty much backwards, so I hope it won't be too hard to follow along. I've been really digging this dark emerald green color, so I picked it for this two-piece. I hope you also enjoyed this video, and please comment and subscribe. Alright, let's get started. So this is the original sketch that I made for this two-piece suit. I'm thinking of doing the other two tops in a separate video, just so this one won't be 30 minutes long. And here's the cutout that I made. This is a template that you can follow by. For the top piece, make sure you're following the one on the right side. I just wanted to show the original cutouts that I made, but I ended up changing it just so that it'll be a little easier to sew. Also, keep in mind that for your pants piece, the back piece is going to be bigger than the front piece. And here are my measurements in pink. So I just want to show that in case the other explanation is a little confusing. Okay, so we're starting with the bottom piece. This is going to be the front of the bottom piece. Make sure you fold your fabric in half. Put the cutout on top of it and fold the waistband down, because we're going to make the waistband separately later. Make sure you leave 2 centimeters all around and transfer your marking to the back side as well. So these are the cutouts for the top piece. Once again, leave 2 centimeters all around. Like I told you, I changed one of the top pieces, so instead of having 2 pieces right here to sew together, we're going to end up with just one full piece that we're going to double layer. And mark the area right there where I'm pointing at so that you'll know where your strap will go later on. Now measure out a long piece. For me, it is 27 by 4 centimeters because that's the size of my waist, but you can make it as thick as you want. And then we're going to cut out these long pieces. Just make sure they're longer than 20 centimeters because these are going to be your straps. Alright, we're going to get started with the strap. Just fold it in half and sew a straight line down. You're going to do this for both of the straps. Once you get done with that, clean up the edges and then using a safety pin, flip it inside out. Alright, let's move on to the top. So for the 2 pieces that you saw a while ago while cutting out, attach them at the curved edges. I would recommend you using some pin in order to keep everything aligned, because when you're sewing a curved line like that, it's really easy to misalign the pieces by the end. And here's an example of how it should look. Do the same thing to the other side. And now you should end up with 3 pieces attached like this. And do the same thing for your other 3 pieces because we're going to double layer the top. Once you get done with that, trim the edges and iron folded flaps down. Using a measuring tape to measure how long you want the strap to be and mark it. Mine is about 26 centimeters, so I marked it right there and just put it on one of the top piece, hand sew it across. After you get your strap temporarily attached, go ahead and place that piece on top of the other top piece with the strap sandwiched in the middle and sew across the top, so where your armpit area is, all the way around the neck to the other armpit side. Go ahead and cut and trim out all the rough edges, including the extra pieces of the string. Flip it inside out and we're gonna sew the inside flap to the back side as close as you can to your original stitching. You should end up with something like this. This is an example for the back side, okay? Keep in mind. Do that all around. Once you get that done, make sure that your 4 previous sewing line are aligned and then pin it down and just sew across the bottom. Then flip it inside out. This is what you should end up with. Now we're going to hand sew across to keep the 2 pieces flat together. Alright, moving on to the back side of the top piece. You're going to attach the strap onto the mark where you made a while ago and hand sew it down. Once again, keeping the strap sandwiched in the middle, Combine the two back pieces, sew across the top. Once you get that done, sew another line in the back side of the back pieces, if that makes sense. Okay, we're almost finishing up with the top piece. Remember, you just sew straight across at the top. Now open it up and put the front pieces in the middle with the strap, like how I have it here, like an actual sandwich, and then sew across the bottom. And then flip it inside out and you should have something like this. I would recommend using a hand needle to sew the sides first, and then you can try it on to make sure that it fits your body. If not, it's a lot easier to fix. Now we're moving on to the pants part. We're gonna fold at the straight line and then sew on the diagonal line. This will help give your pants more curve to it. Do that to all 4 pieces of the bottom. Once that is done, get one front piece and one back piece for the bottom and attach them at the curve area. Use these ballpoint needles in order to help you keep the fabric aligned while you're sewing. Do that for all 4 pieces and you should end up with 2 legs piece. Now we're gonna complete the sleeve of the pants and sew starting at the pointy crotch area. Don't sew at the hip area, because we're gonna attach that to the other one. Now using these ballpoint needle again, attach the 2 leg pieces at the crotch area, sew across it. This will be a tricky sew because you're gonna have to flip the pants as you go. Just be careful and take your time. And voila, you should end up with something like this by the end of it. Almost complete. Alright, so the cutout that I made was a little bit bigger than I anticipated, but it was also because this fabric is very stretchy. So as I was sewing, the fabric keep on getting bigger and bigger, and so did the pants, so I had to re-sew about 3 times and keep on trying it on to make sure that it fit me. And then I just trimmed the edges, leaving at least 1.5 centimeters of space between my cut and my final stitches. And move over to the serger, and I seal all of the rough edges on the pants. All around, including the crotch area. I'm only leaving the waist and the bottom. I'm opening a little bit of the top area so I can attach the waistband later. Now we're gonna make the waistband. Use the waistband piece that you cut out a while ago, fold it in half, hand sew it down, and then using your sewing machine, just measure out about 2.5 centimeters, draw straight across, and then you're gonna sew on that line. Once you sew the waistband down, now we're going to use a hand needle to attach it to your pants piece. Use your sewing machine to permanently attach it to your pants piece once you get that done. I'm using a safety pin to put the elastic inside of the pocket waistband that I just made. Using a serger to seal the stitching line of the waistband and the pants. Okay, we're at our final step now. Use your needle to stitch all across the opening area at the bottom of your pants, and then go ahead and permanently sew it down with your sewing machine, leaving about 1.5 centimeters of space between your stitching and the end of your pants. Once you're done with all that, use your iron to iron everything straight out, especially the stitches area, just to make it look cleaner. And voila, you got yourself a 2-piece suit. This honestly was a big challenge for me because I've never sewn a pair of pants before, but you live and you learn, and I'm so thankful that you guys are patient enough to watch through all this because I continue to correct my work as I go along. I'm still learning as well. Last note, I also want to give a shout out to my friend Casey for letting me use his songs in my video. If you want to check out his music, I'll leave a link of his SoundCloud in my description box. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you to all my friends and the viewers for their positive feedbacks on my last videos. I feel like I am getting the hang of this a little bit. Overall, the filming and the recording process is what's really hard, but you will only get better the more you do it, right? Except I'm still pretty uncomfortable in front of the camera, but anyways, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.